Education Minister Naledi Pandor has tweeted that she's concerned about the number of tertiary institution dropouts. A tweet comes on the back of a Sunday Times report highlighting the increase in the university dropout rate, with engineering students leading the pack. Let's chat now to the Minister on what her department is doing to curb this. She's in our Cape Town studio for us. Minister, good morning and thanks for your time this morning. You've expressed concern. Your Deputy Minister also expressing concern, where just a couple of days ago talking about the high university dropout rate. You've also done studies on this, Minister. Your department has done. What are the studies saying? How are they explaining the reasons for the high rates, for the high dropout rates?
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. Morning to your viewers as well. We do 10-year cohort studies as the Department of Higher Education and Training, and have been doing so for several years. Our studies indicate that while indeed we should be concerned at the throughput rates, there is a slight improvement, there's an uptick. We also, I think, have the use of different methodologies. The study that's been quoted is by the CHE. We tend to, in our studies, take account of students throughout their academic study career. So while the CHE will look at a student who enters in year 2005 and perhaps drops out 2 years later, we will track that student and identify whether they might have gone into another institution or a different program. So the methodologies are different, but what you do see is there is some improvement, but nevertheless, in certain undergraduate programs, the dropout rate continues to be very high, and I think we need to do a lot of work. This is why we're investing in a university capacity development program to support universities to ensure that the appropriate foundation and bridging programs are available to young people in order to ensure that they do succeed in their undergraduate degrees. And I think we also need to be looking far more closely at the postgraduate level, because we must have success throughout the programs within our university system.
Now, I'd like to talk a little bit more about those programs in just a minute, Minister, but I want to go back to what your concerns are around the dropout rate. I mean, as you say, your studies sort of track where they go to once they've dropped out and what the reason is, but what exactly is your concern? Is it that they just aren't able to cope at the tertiary institutions that they're dropping out of? Also, what is the impact? Are your concerns around the impact, sort of the financial impact of this as well, especially in light of fee-free higher education at the moment?
Well, Rebecca, there are several concerns. Firstly, it is that young people go into higher education with the hope of coming out with a qualification. And if they drop out without any success, clearly that's a significant loss of resources, both human and financial, for our country. We don't want young people to lose hope. A second concern for me is that there are fairly worrying levels of failure in programs that are the non-traditional or the critical skills domains for South Africa: engineering, medicine, and so on. So I think we need to ensure that in those programs where there's huge demand for numeracy, for competence in science, that we do ensure that support is provided so that young people succeed. So it's certainly a cost, a lost inefficiency issue for our country. But what worries me even more is that I've noted in the studies that students are taking a very long time to complete. And this is something that should worry us, because really, you want young people to come into the system. If they take a year longer than minimum time to complete, or 2 years, that is normal in universities worldwide. But when it begins to become 3 or 4 and so on, then I think the system needs to be concerned.
And then are you concerned that the fact that this is fee-free higher education, that might be the reason that this money is not coming out of their pockets, so they're not taking it seriously enough?
Well, remember that our fee-free has just begun from this year. I think there are many issues that are related to success in higher education. Some of them are the issues that young people have been articulating with respect to what they term decolonization of education and the curriculum in our tertiary system. So they're finding that perhaps there's a curriculum overload or lack of support with the ability to cope with academic language and other demands. They may be finding it difficult to cope with the subjects which are conceptually very challenging, your statistics, information technology domain. So there are a range of aspects related to the discipline that need to be addressed. It's a complex issue, and I think not simply defined as numbers or finance, because university is really a challenging space. And what we are encouraging our institutions to do is look at all of that complexity and ensure that we respond to it.
All right, Minister, if I can ask you to summarize very quickly for us the programs that are in place to help minimize the number of dropouts at tertiary institutions.
Well, very quickly, let me say there's some universities that have become absolutely fantastic at providing support to young people, and it's there where we're seeing the improved throughput rates. So foundation programs, academic development, support for lecturers to be good researchers but good teachers as well. Materials development. So it's the university capacity development program ranging at around 920 million rand this year. So this is significant investment in ensuring that all of us in the system are geared to provide support young people to succeed.
Thanks.